As we all know, appointment setters are a valuable part of any business, especially an online coaching business. And in this video today, I'm going to show you exactly where and how to hire winning appointment setters in 2026. I'm going to show you the most efficient and streamlined method possible, as well as what you should actually be looking for in a winning setter. So without further ado, let's just hop right into it. I won't waste any time. Okay, so we have to go over the sourcing and hiring process. Okay, so I built out a little step-by-step guide here. The sort of standard method, which most people go for, is the sort of one-on-one sourcing where you go and you find someone, or maybe you make a post and you find someone, and then you go through the whole interview process with them. You send them some questions, and then you get them on an interview, and then that guy doesn't work, so we'll go to the next one, and we'll go to the next one. But the problem with that is it's extremely time consuming and complicated as well, having to keep track of all these different people and all these different sources. And so I'm going to scrap that completely and show you a much better method. Instead of going to each person directly, what we're going to actually do is funnel every single person into one application. And then from that application, we'll review those. And then from there, schedule the follow-up interviews like that. And so this way, what we're going to do is when we make posts, we're going to share the link to multiple places and all the traffic will be directed to one form instead of having to write out a whole different post description for each time you post a link somewhere. So we're just going to copy a description. We're going to make it, we're going to post it, and we're going to post it with this application link. And so no matter where you post this, no matter where you find this applicant, it's all going to get funneled into this one application. Okay, so how do we actually build this application and what is it going to look like? So I prefer to build it on something like Google Forms or Airtable, but any kind of software that you're used to using is good. Just something where you can collect a lot of different responses and view them on a table. Okay, and for the first round, for this first application, you're going to keep the questions extremely simple and to the point. You don't want any long answered questions. You just want to figure out, who are these people? What age are they? Do they have any past experience? What does their time schedule look like? Is English their first language? Because we can save the more in-depth questions for the second round interviews. So instead of having to waste time sending paragraphs to each one of these people, we're going to make a simple application. And right here, I have a sample application that I've actually used in the past. So I'm going to show you it just to display that it's extremely simple. So this is what you'll see, the setter application form. We'll give a very short, brief overview of the role up here. We just want the full name, phone number for contacting them after, an Instagram handle. We're asking for their time zone. Is English their first language? How long have they been a setter for? To describe their past roles briefly. And really, I'm just trying to get how much time did they spend there? What niche was it? And what were they getting paid? What are they currently making from setting? How many hours do they have to commit to this role? And just simply, why do they think they would be a good fit? And basically, that's it. It's going to be super easy. It should take them from anywhere from like 5 to 10 minutes to fill out. And once they do, all that information is going to be directed straight towards whatever platform you built it on. Okay, so where do we actually post this application? Where do we source these setters? So we have the application, it's built out. We have questions ready to ask. We've written out a little description that we're going to post with it. Where do we actually post it to find the best setters? Well, everywhere. And because we're doing it this way and we're funneling it all into one application, we can go for quantity over quality, meaning that you can post it everywhere. Look at setting school communities, closing school communities, Discord communities, if you can get in any of those, on Instagram, on your story. If you can get your friends to post on their story, on X, you can make a post on X. You can go on Facebook groups. And I wouldn't normally recommend going in Facebook groups, but because this is such a good sorting system, you can post it in all the setting Facebook groups. Basically, it's one application that's going to go to all of them. And now this next step is going to be very important because we're going to get a lot of bad leads while doing this because we're getting such a high quantity and we're posting it to so many places. So step 3 is the filtering applicants process. We're going to sift through the data and eliminate around 60 to 75% of the applicants based solely off of their answers. And so it's about 3 and 4. So you're going to keep about 1 and 4 people. And like we said, this is very brief questions, so you're just going to eliminate them based on your own rules and what you want for your offer. So if you don't want anyone in a different time zone, just go and eliminate everyone in a different time zone. Are they too young? Are they under 18? You want over 18? Is English not their first language? Basically, you're just going to filter them off of very basic things until you're down to just about 1/4 of the applicants. And so now we're getting into step 4, which is the actual interview of the applicants. So all these people who applied and English is not their first language, they're too young, whatever it is, you don't have to spend time getting on a 20-minute interview on a Zoom call, figuring out these things, and then having to say no after. You've already said no, so now you know that all these applicants that you're interviewing are at least quality in some aspect. So they put in their phone number. I'm going to message them on WhatsApp. So this is if they didn't get eliminated. Hey Josh, this is Finn. I run the life coaching offer for the application you recently filled out. After looking through your application, I think it would be great if we could set up a time for a short interview. Would this work for you? They'll say yes, and you'll say, okay, great. I'll send over my calendar link. So just book a time that works for you. Awesome. See you then. You're going to send over a Calendly link, and they're going to have 20-minute slots for no more than 1 to 2 days in advance. And basically, when that time comes, you'll just hop on from the Calendly, you'll hop on the Zoom, and you'll give them their interview. Okay. As a little bit of extra information from what I've picked up from hiring centers over the years is do not send them any reminders to show up for the call. Because if they need a reminder to show up, they are not a good fit. They are not hungry enough. If you need to send them 5 reminders that they need to show up for this interview, they don't deserve the role. These are probably people who have applied for hundreds of different roles, are jumping from role to role. You don't want someone like that. You want someone who's going to show up excited and nervous for your call. They're going to show up 10 minutes before, join the call, and be ready to actually get interviewed. So that's why I have a confirmation send from Calendly, an automated confirmation right when they book. But after that, it's absolutely nothing. And if they don't join after 5 minutes, it's on them. They are the one getting interviewed. You have to understand that. You hold all of the authority. You shouldn't be begging them to show up for their interview. You're handing them the opportunity, not the other way around. And the second you forget that is the second when, excuse me for my language, you get bitched around by your setters. Okay, so how do we actually conduct these interviews? Well, they're very simple. You shouldn't complicate any part of this process. Okay, you're gonna keep them short and concise. There's no need to waste your time or your setter's time by dragging them out and asking just frivolous questions. Okay, so start the interview with a quick overview of how the call will actually go. Okay, so you need to set the tone and let them know that you have the authority. Okay, so hey, Josh, thank you for coming to this call. It's going to be around 15 to 20 minutes. I'll give you a short overview of how the actual role will look like. Then I'll ask you some questions. And after that, we'll get off the call and I'll let you know if you're accepted in the role in the next 2 to 3 days. Okay, and that's exactly how we're going to do it. You're going to start by giving them a more in-depth overview of the role because you don't want to start asking these questions, go through the whole interview, and then be like, okay, what's the actual offer about again? Remember, we didn't add too much to the application. So they have like kind of a brief understanding, but they don't know the complete description of the role. And I've had times where I've given them a more in-depth overview of the role at the start of the interview. And they say, well, actually, I don't think this is for me. And I say, okay, that's fine. Have a good day. And I didn't waste 20 minutes questioning them. Okay. So that's why you always want to do that first. Okay. And then you hop into the questioning, and the question is going to be very dependent on what you're looking for specifically in a setter, because everyone's going to be looking for something different for their business or depending on their offer. But you mainly just want to be asking open-ended questions to get a feel for what kind of person are they? What is their experience in the past? Why do they actually want this role? How much time and energy are they willing to allocate if given this role? Okay. After the questions, I don't give them any feedback. I just say, thank you for your time. And you'll get back to them in 1 to 3 days over SMS or WhatsApp and let them know that. Let's go over a brief overview of what we just did. So first, we built the application, simple questions on something like Google Form. We posted it to everywhere we possibly could. We filtered 75% of the applicants. The remaining 25% got on the interviews. We interviewed them. We said we'll get back to them in 1 to 3 days. Okay, and so how are we going to actually pick the right setters? So there's something you need to know about setting, that there's a very low barrier to entry for setting compared to something like closing, where you need hours and hours of practice of handling objections, building rapport, pre-handling, all these things. With setting, it's a very low barrier to entry, especially if they're not even going to be on the phone doing it verbally, but over DMs or text messages. There's even lower barrier. So one thing I will always do, and I implore you to do as well, is always select your setters for ambition over experience, aka someone who's actually hungry, because you can take the time to train them and it will not take long at all. And I've hired many setters, and I've hired experienced setters that weren't hungry and they performed way worse than someone who had literally zero setting experience but was extremely hungry, right? And this doesn't work for something like a sales rep. I would always hire someone with more experience. But when it's setting and there's not as many skills involved, you always want to pick someone who's far more ambitious. But experience is always good to have as well, especially in a similar niche. Okay, so after you pick the right setter or setters, contact them over WhatsApp and let them know. And if they accept, instantly schedule an onboarding call. And then another tip I want to give you guys is that do not send rejection text messages to the people who didn't get the role, because it's possible that you might offer them the role and they decline. And then if you already declined the other people, well, now you got to go back and say, oh, I take it back, or you got to go through the hiring process again. So don't decline anyone until you have your setter or setters fully onboarded and working. So here's an example message. Morning, Josh. After careful consideration of yours and all other candidates' applications and interviews, the team has decided that you would be the best fit for our setter role, especially with blah, 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 their ambition, whatever it is. We feel that you would perform very well in this offer. Ask them, do they accept it? And boom, you have your setters. And from there, immediately book them onto an onboarding call and begin the training so that you can get them working on your offer. I hope with this video, you guys can see that it's actually a very simple process as long as you don't complicate it. You can save a whole lot of time and a whole lot of effort by using this methodology that I just showed you guys. And hiring setters will go from a hassle to a repeatable framework. So if you guys actually want this Miro board along with all these messages and the application, then just go ahead and go to my Instagram. It's in the description and in my bio of my YouTube, and just DM me asset and I'll send it over along with all the other boards from all my YouTube videos. If you don't already know by now, I am a growth operator. So I go in and I scale online coaches and consultants. I scale their coaching offers. So if you have an info offer doing $5, $10, $15, $20,000 a month, and you know that you want to scale, or you don't have an offer, but you are a professional in your niche and you want to launch one, then I implore you to go to this link, which is also in the description, and just watch this video that I made for you. No pressure, and see if I would be a good fit to work with you and scale your online coaching business. But other than that, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope it helped you and that you're going to be able to hire setters much more easily with this repeatable framework. And if you made it this far and were interested in this video, I'm sure you'll be interested in all the other videos I have on my YouTube channel. So go check them out.